My name is Mugo Karaba. This is the Green Garden Kennels. It's actually our company. We deal with dogs specifically, and we do two main things. One, we do some breeding, which I really focus on ethical breeding. So yeah, so we do breeding, that's one. And number two, we also do dog boarding. We have a few dogs here we are boarding for people, and I know this is not such a common thing here in Kenya. Usually it's vets who do it.
So I see like you have a couple of breeds. You're not stuck to one breed. So can you just like roughly take us through the breeds you have around here?
Oh, okay, yeah. So we have, I think, 5 different breeds here. We have, of course, our German Shepherds. That's the stable, that's the dog every Kenyans love, and they only know a German Shepherd. Most Kenyans, German Shepherd. Then we also have our Caucasian Shepherd. This is one of the puppies we have. It's called Austin. So we have 5 different, is it 5? Now we have 4 Caucasian Shepherds, the adults, and then we have these 4 puppies over here. Then we also have Golden Retrievers, and finally we have Bobbles. So those are 4 breeds. And then now the last breed, which we just took because we just liked it, is a mixture between a Spitz and a German Shepherd.
Oh, Pixie.
Pixie, yeah, the one which is very antisocial.
She's not here. She's not here. Okay, so because of all these breeds, I'm assuming like every dog has its own personality, from fur to behavior, character. How do you like cater for each one with its own needs, especially with Kenya's very unpopular weather? How are you catering for each one na needs zake, from its fur, shedding, feeding, habits, behavior?
So this is something actually we had to learn while moving. So for Caucasians, for example, it's very surprising. Most people actually don't understand how in Kenya we can have Caucasian Shepherd, but their fur actually helps them to regulate their temperature. So when it's too hot, their fur helps them cool down, and when it's too cold, is the system. That's how they work.
It has a lot of fur, so I'm expecting it's going to be extremely hot for him or her.
Actually, opposite. It helps them. Their fur actually helps them regulate and cool down and stay at the temperature where they need to. But still, we are very careful with our very long coats, especially the Caucasians. So what we've built other kennels there behind, which also have tiles. And tiles are really good because they help the floors stay cool. So for hot days, today is not a hot day, today is nice. For the dogs, this is the perfect weather because it's cloudy, it's a bit fresh. So
it's sunny and it's cold at the same time.
Exactly. But now for the days when it's hot, the tiles are very good because it keeps a lot of the cool. And because the Kenyans are also quite big and well aerated, they can very well survive there actually. They only come out when it's really sunny. They only come out to go do their needs. But usually you see, even if you leave the doors open, they'll just go back there behind because it's much fresh and cool. So that's how we manage to keep all our Caucasians always in the kennels on that side. Then we have, of course, our German Shepherds. German Shepherds are it's very easy for them. They adapt very easily to the weather. So they don't. Of course, we won't leave them in the sun, especially we have the solid black, which is here. We won't leave them in the sun. But they do actually quite well with our weather, and it's not also too hot around here. There are seasons where it gets hot, but it's still okay for them. The ones we really worry about is those ones, but up to now they have been doing very well, and we also monitor them. And especially when they're puppies, we even have thermometers in their place where they were being given birth and what. So you have thermometers to make sure the temperature is okay. And yeah, so they sustain themselves quite well.
I've seen you also have Golden Retrievers. Like, how are you catering for them?
The funny thing is, for most of these dogs, we do the same thing. Is like, even if one has more hair, less hair, the only thing I would say the difference is the grooming. Because now that's something actually most people, they don't pay too much attention to the grooming, and you might think, oh, it's just to make it look nice. No, it doesn't make it look nice. If a dog starts matting too much, their hair doesn't play the role it's supposed to play, the regulating of temperatures and what. And then they also start having skin conditions, like fungal infections. Quite a few things can happen. So we make sure the hair is well combed all the time. All of our dogs, especially the long coats, they are combed weekly. And we wash them every month, once a month, except the puppies. Now the puppies get dirty very quickly, so we wash them every 2 weeks. But we still try to reduce the washing, because the more you wash a dog, the more it irritates their skin, and it's not actually good because it removes all their natural oils, and it also leaves them vulnerable to some kind of infections like pyoderma, for example. When they are itching themselves, they leave like a small scratch, and if the skin is dry, it can make some bacteria enter there, especially a clean, dry skin, and then that's when they get pyodermas. And we got so many of them at the beginning because we were washing them almost every week, just to keep them nice and clean. And that's when we learned, by the way, our dogs are getting some funny skin diseases. What's happening? So we researched, we talked to the vets, and that's what I was saying. We learned while we are moving. Every time when we are moving, until
it's more of like evolving.
Exactly. That's even how we knew. Okay, if we comb them every week, we keep their place clean. It's very easy. And then of course there are times like usually we walk also the dogs, so they have the exercise, they have their playtime, and we won't walk them when it's too cold. Either very early in the morning between 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. or late in the afternoon from 5, 6, 7, around those times, because now it's cool and it's really good for them.
Just around the aspect of taking care of them, maintaining them from weather to food, how often do you take them for vet visits? Are they supposed to go oftenly for vets, checkups, vaccinations? From around what age are they going? Do you know, are you supposed to take them frequently, or is it just for a duration of time?
So that will be on a case-to-case for the dogs. For our adults, they get routine checks I'd say every 6 months, because our vets actually come here. They take a look if the dog is healthy and what. So that's like once every 6 months. That's just the routine. Then we have, of course, you talked about the vaccinations. That's once a year. Every year they need to be given a vaccination called DHLP and one called rabies, very important. And then now for the other case-to-case is we observe our dogs a lot. And we realize when we see some specific signs, the dog has to be checked by a vet. Or other signs, we know, okay, this is what we can do ourselves to be able to keep the dog well. I talked about pyoderma. Pyoderma is something I used to go to the vets all the time because it's like a skin infection and it starts getting pus, and it's quite a bad condition if you don't treat it. And I saw what the vets were doing, and then I realized, okay, this is something I can do myself. I don't advocate to do self-medication, but when you have this many dogs, you need to learn a few things to be able to do by yourself. There's things like deworming also. At first, we used to call the vets every time, please come do our deworming, and that's every 3 months, until we saw, no, actually, deworming, now that we know how it works, it's 1 tablet for every 10 kg. We know, okay, this is how I'm supposed to give, and we learn ourselves, and then we give to our dogs. So yeah, and then also, there are signs we started picking up. There are signs like, for example, sometimes dogs have having a lot of, I wouldn't think, how do you call the things which come out from, is it boogers or whatever? These things which come in, it's for nose. Yeah. So the thing now they get in the eyes. So sometimes they get a lot of that. And at first we always thought,
that leave, I think.
Yeah, there are two. There are actually 2 of them. There is the tears, and then there is that greenish dart which is in the eye. At first we thought it was normal. When we see that in a dog, we just need to clean it off. Then slowly we started thinking, oh, it could probably be an eye infection, so we give eye drops. And then that's now when we were talking with the vets, and the vets would come deal with the dogs. They tell us, no, when there is a lot of stuff coming out from the eye, it actually tells you that the dog has an intestinal or a digestion issue in the stomach, so they need to be given A, B, C, D. So yeah, so for such things, I still call the vets, because I can't say for sure, okay, is it an eye infection, is it this? Because sometimes you might need just eye drops, and other times you might need proper medicine. So for such things, we still call the vets. But for the easier things, we just have to do it ourselves.
And after doing all of this, from taking care of that animal to the animal being pregnant, the animal giving birth, up until when we actually get to the stage where now you're selling the pet or the dog to the buyer. How is that process? Is there a criteria you guys follow before you actually sell the dog? Are there qualifications they need to pass? In between, because I don't think like a lot of people are well educated on what you need to do or have before actually getting a pet.
Exactly, yeah. So what I do myself, and I do a lot of research on the people who come and ask for dogs. So we do a lot of talking, and if I realize there's someone who already has a dog, I'll always ask the same questions. Okay, can we have like a video call, and I see the dogs you have, how you're taking care of them. I like doing that because it tells me a lot. Once I see, either I go myself physically or a video call, once I see how the guy is taking care of the dogs, I can say, okay, my puppy can actually go to that place, or no, my puppy can absolutely not go there. But now for the new people, because there's also so many new people who come to us, oh, I want a dog and whatever, what I will end up doing is giving them all the advice I actually have, everything I know myself, to tell them, okay, you need to do this. For puppies specifically, if you have a toddlers, I always tell people who have toddlers, puppies, it's not the best idea. It might look like a very nice thing and what, but what ends up happening is toddlers don't know better. And puppies need a lot of attention, and you need to teach the puppies how to behave and what. So especially, like, let's talk about the Caucasians here we have. A toddler will come, put his hands on the Caucasian, but these are puppies. So what they'll do, they'll try to nibble on the hands and whatever, and then a toddler can get hurt. So I always tell people, if you have kids, make sure you are very well supervised when you are taking care of the puppy. And then now I also tell them, okay, how you are going to take care of the puppy, what to feed him, how many times you need to feed, how many times you need to wash, actually everything. So we spend quite a lot of time. Like the last person who came for a dog here, we spent almost 5 hours talking, because it was the first time. He's never had a dog before.
A new pet parent.
He's never, so, and I like such people because he was also engaging with me, saying, oh, so what would happen if I do this? So we had a very long, actually more than 5 hours, because he came at around 1, he was leaving at 7. So that's much more than 5 hours. So I give as much information as possible, and then also keep in touch with the person. I call them, okay, how is the dog doing? Have you had any difficulties? Do you have any questions? Can I visit? That's very important. Whoever comes and buys a dog from me, they need to know that I will come to visit. For sure. And I'll just call them because I know around where they are, and I'll say, okay, I can come. And if people are very far, because we also sell to people who are like in Kisumu, Eldoret, all those places. Now those ones, we mostly do video calls. So I tell them, okay, I hope you'll be okay. Because if you don't want to, then I'm not comfortable to let my dog go. So I want to know for sure I can come, I can visit, and my dog will be well taken care of. So there's a lot of before buying the dog, and also after. Yeah. What I wanted to start actually, and this is what something which I was advised also by the KSPCA. I don't know if you know them. They're the guys who deal with guys who deal with animal rescue. Yeah. I really like them because they do a pretty good job. So they actually advised me what I should be doing is having a form which everyone signs. So in that form there'll be all the conditions, like you're taking this dog, you know you'll be like this, you know you'll be visited. You know. Exactly. So that's something I want to start, and moving forward, I believe probably not for this litter, but because all of them are already booked. But moving forward, yeah, that's what I want, just to make sure someone knows what they are entering into, and they are also going to continue keep the dog well, because the first expense of the dog is nothing compared to how much that dog is going to take throughout its life. It's really nothing.
Sure, to actually keep it. And just around the same question, okay, of late we've really had so many cases of people mistreating dogs, people abandoning their pets, people killing pets, and actually huku nje turakula hata mutura ya wanyama. Not me necessarily, but people are doing really heinous acts to pets. So what happens when you actually find out that someone you actually gave a pet to, or someone you sold it to, is actually mistreating that pet, or the pet is living under really bad conditions? What do you do? What measures are you taking to ensure that pet is okay? Do you take them back? Do you report them?
So there are two things we do. Number one, I always, before the person takes the dog, I always say, if the time comes and you are unable to take care of the dog, bring it. We will keep the dog. Don't worry about this, that, no. Just bring the dog, we'll keep the dog. If you are struggling, whatever, bring the dog home, we'll find a space for him. Even if we don't have space, we can make space. That's number one. Number two, there are the people who are a bit harder to deal with. Those are the people who you need to, I'm not saying me, but which need more force to be able, because they'll treat badly their dogs. When you confront them, they'll be like, I don't care, it's my dog now, I can do whatever I want. So for such cases now I go and I talk to people like KSPCA, and I tell them, okay, I have proper evidence that one of my dogs that I've sold here is being mistreated. I have the people, the neighbors are witnesses. I am a witness myself, and can we do something? And KSPCA is very quick. They're like, you have evidence, you have the testimonies of other people, we go. So now they take the big action of going there and making sure that the dog is going to either be taken well care of or removed from the place.
There's been a lot of controversy around pet owners, because okay, for me personally, I have a pet, but Sasa, the controversy comes from a point of, are people actually getting pets because they love pets, or are they getting them for social media? Just as you told me, kuna mwenye amefungulia her pet social media, they have a whole account. People are actually getting them for aesthetic, or do they actually love pets and getting a companion? What do you think about it?
For what I've seen, the guys which come for the dogs we have, specifically the dogs we have, are animal lovers actually. Really, like, they want something which is, of course, they want something which is beautiful, but something which they have really wanted for a long time, especially the Caucasians, because it's not a cheap dog at all. It's actually among the more expensive ones. They really care, they really want something wow. So they have a lot of passion for them. And then, of course, you'll always have the other people who is how do you call it? Like your class. You're the class of people who have a dog in your backyard. You're there. Like our parents. The parents. There's always this. They have a big compound. They have the nice dogs. There's also that thing, definitely. Then you have the last category of people who come, which are the breeders. And I'm not biased against breeders, but I only sell. I don't think I've ever sold one of my Caucasians to any breeders, because what I said I go and I visit and I see what they're doing, and the ones which come from my Caucasians, I see their place and I'm like, am I going to let my dog go here? Absolutely, I cannot do it. I can't. Like, so many people have come, and I've refused. Like, for the last litter I've had, I've refused over 100 people to go with a dog. Actually, it has passed. And it's so easy because I talk to them. Many of them even tell you, no, you can't come visit my place. Already, I know it is fine. I'm not visiting you, but you'll need to find it somewhere else.
There has been a lot of questions between breeders, from breeders to adoptions, where they actually have mottos there: don't buy, adopt, don't buy, adopt. How does that make you feel personally as a breeder?
So that's actually one of the things I deal with a lot here. Before someone comes and asks, okay, I want this breed, we have a discussion with the person, and I always advise people, okay, if it's your first dog and probably you don't know so much about dogs and you don't have like a focus breed you want, because we have many breeds here, try adopting first. That's always the first thing, because a dog, even if it's an adopted dog, it's still a dog. You still need the same amount of care, which would be the same amount of financially. So if people come and they're not very sure, like, I want this specific breed for this, I always tell them, then leave my guys here. These ones, I already know they will go sooner or later, but you go to a place like SPCA, for example, and they have many breeds. They even have some of the breeds they have here. They have German Shepherd, Golden Retrievers. They have so many different breeds. So you could start there. And what I end up understanding during those conversations is many people, they want like puppies, or they want to have that experience of a pure breed. So that's when now, if I really see like, okay, if you really want this specific pure breed, of course, you're not going to be able to get it at KSPCA unless you're extremely lucky, so you won't be able to. So yeah, at that time now, I know the guy is specific and what, and I'll be like, okay, then let's talk about what I have. So I support that thing about adopt, don't shop actually. It may look counterproductive, but we have so many dogs which are being abandoned. We have so many dogs in the dog shelters. So many, over I think 300 right now at KSPCA or something. So it's really crazy, and I've been there, and I really feel the pain of those dogs. So first thing always, have you checked KSPCA? Are you sure you don't want one of those? If after all that they still want, well and good.
What advice would you give someone who's seeking to get a pet, someone who's actually seeking or considering to get a pet, or someone who's actually thinking of venturing into the journey, I don't want to term it as a business, someone who's seeking to venture into the journey of breeding?
So there are two things. For the pet owners who want to become a new pet, the first thing you need to do is a lot of research on how to take care of that pet. From the training, to the feeding, to the toys you need to use, to all that. You need to do a lot of research and be ready. And also the kennel. You need a indoor kennel is good, or outdoor, but you need to make sure you have all what you need to give the best chance to the dog. And an example which I always tell people is, do you have a good fence? Because dogs are mischievous. All those dogs here. And they are clever. And what they want, the first thing they want to do is escape. Not because they are unhappy, but because that's like a challenge to them. Yeah. So if you don't have a good fence, that's the place I tell you, okay, start with a good fence. You don't need the most professional kennels. You don't need the best thing, that. Start with a good fence and a good compound. Now, if you don't have a compound and you live in an apartment, there are specific breeds I would advise you to go for. For example, I know this is a very funny idea, but I've seen myself that the bigger breeds do better in apartments than the smaller breed. It's very funny. Exactly.
Hard to maintain. How are they doing better?
And even when you research, online they'll always tell you, oh, for apartments, take chihuahuas, take this. And that's like the common thing people think of.
Yeah, probably a cat or like a small chihuahua or a pixie.
Exactly. But I realized, actually, no. For apartments, big dogs do much better because bigger dogs, and I'm not talking about German Shepherds. German Shepherds should never be in an apartment, ever.
So you're supposed to have a Caucasian in a whole apartment.
The funny thing is Caucasians, because of their size and because of their character, they're much more chilled, much more. And they don't have such high energy levels as German Shepherds, as Pits, as all those tiny dogs. They don't have as much energy. So when it comes to the apartment, especially if you have the time, if you have the time to walk the dog, to play with it, and you're not just leaving it inside the apartment to destroy everything, the dog will be very calm and very okay. So bigger dogs have worked so much better. Before we built our kennels, we were living in the apartment, my apartment right here. It's not that, it's like a 2-bedroom with 5 dogs. And they were okay.
And they weren't making noise for neighbors.
We taught them to be quiet, so they didn't care. The only time they start barking inside the apartment would be when someone knocks at the door, for example. Definitely now they start barking. But except that, we taught them to be chilled. We taught them not to eat shoes, not to take things we don't give them. When we are eating food, they go and they sit in their place. All those things we taught them, so it became super easy. And we had those German Shepherds, by the way. And now what we had to do, and I always tell the new owners, you don't get a dog unless you have the time. Yeah, and that's the time, actually, 5 years ago, where I said, no, now I have to put it my all. I have to now, all I'll be doing is those dogs. I'll be walking them, playing with them, staying with them, and they became very easy to handle for me because of that, because I had the time. So I'll always, the first advice is, make sure you have a good place, fencing, all that. Then make sure you have the time. That's for a pet owner, because if you don't have the time, there's no point of having a dog. And when I say time, I mean you don't have a job from 8 to 5 p.m. every single day. Because if you have that type of job, you are busy, your dog, by the time you come home, he'll be very depressed because he'll have been in a cage the whole day. And if he's not in a cage and he's just in the apartment, he'll ruin everything. So you need that time. And if you don't have the time yourself personally, you'd need to have probably like a caretaker who would be there with the dog and when you're not around, or at least family members or something. Now when it comes to the breeding side, I've discouraged many people to start breeding.
Why?
I've been discouraging because it's not an industry you enter and you can make a lot of money unless you decide you are not going to be ethical. And that's the reason why I always try to discourage people. We have thousands of breeders in Kenya, thousands literally. Everyone, like if I come from here in Rongai, from my house, I just walk around this road here, we have like 15 breeders. Just here, just walking around, whether they are Bobels, German Shepherds, whatever. So there are so many sellers as breeders, but buyers are very few. They are very, very few. So that's why when people want to enter this business, I tell them, okay, there are 2 ways. You can be an ethical breeder and you will struggle for some time, or you just don't enter. Leave this thing alone. This has been 5 years I've been doing this, and honestly, this being the 5th year is now when I'm almost breaking even. I haven't even broken even from all the investments. I'm almost there, and things happen. Accidents happen. Like now, my Odin is going to go for surgery, and that's going to cost me, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands. Exactly. Or you have a dog which gets a miscarriage.
It's more of as much as you're taking 5 steps back, there's always going to be that one point where you're taking a step back.
Exactly.
5 steps forward, another 5 steps back.
Exactly. So I try to discourage, but if someone really wants to, I tell them fine. Start with one dog, one female, and
see how it goes.
And that female, look around, research in your area, okay? Because in your area and the areas around, like let's say in Nairobi, you're looking at Nairobi, Limuru, all those areas around, what are the dogs which are doing well? And I can tell you for free right now, German Shepherds are not doing well because there are too many people. Bobels are not doing well. Huskies are not doing well. Those 3 breeds, because there are too many people selling them, Exactly. If you get a female from there, and that's when you're starting, you'll be very discouraged because she'll give birth, but you'll stay with puppies for a very long time before you can release them. So do a bit of market research and try and see, okay, these dogs are going well, so you focus on these dogs.
Last question, completely like a musha before we actually finish. How do you get buyers to buy your pets, to buy your dogs? Where do they find you?
So TikTok, I would say, is the best platform. And of course, if you want to find us, we are Green Garden Kennels on TikTok. Exactly, yeah. And I did stop. I had started. The Instagram became a bit complicated for me because I had too much. I am taking care of the dogs, then there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, then now there's TikTok. So I took a back seat on the others and focused fully on TikTok. And then now I'm actually coming back. Now that we actually have an employee here who is also helping. Now I'm restarting slowly and slowly on the other social medias.